It's Sunday No Huddle time. Bret Beherns pitching in for Andy Olson. He's on his way back from Maryland. Robert Rosenthal from IlliniBoard.com. Feeling better? I know you're a little bummed you didn't get to make the trip.
That's right.
But are you going to cancel all the plans now going forward?
I have heard that from at least 20 people now of hey, if you stay away, 6-game win streak and we're good. I don't think I could do it, but it was rough not being there because, you've seen these signs of this team. You've seen this ability to maybe get there, and to not be able to see it all come together yesterday, it was rough. But, hey, I got to watch a game on TV.
Let's start big picture here and then work our way in. How much does this change what you think of this team going forward? It was a must-win if they were having these bowl goals. And for me, I think it's just we've talked so much about this team's capability. We finally saw a glimpse of what that could be, and voila, they get a win.
Yeah, I think when you looked at November, you could see Indiana, Northwestern. Okay, there's maybe 2 wins. Maybe Minnesota hasn't looked good at all. Maybe you could steal one there. Maybe you could steal one at Iowa. Their offense is terrible. You could maybe see 3 of 4 in November. You couldn't really see 4 of 4. Which means they had to win at least one of these 2,
right.
Wisconsin or Maryland, if they were even going to think about 6-6 in a bowl. So that keeps that alive. That's the biggest change. That it's okay, now if you beat Wisconsin, that totally changes the math. But even if you don't, you could possibly win 3 of 4 in November and salvage a bowl in December.
The win and the math we're getting not good there for Illinois.
It was going the wrong direction.
I think it does change that a little bit. The thing that I think most of all, it's just the confidence. You have to have some baseline of something that you can prove that you can do it on the field. For me, that's what stands out is, look, now this team should be able to go on film and say, hey, we didn't beat ourselves with the penalties. We got some fortuitous penalties going the other way, and they played complimentary football. Imagine this, they do that, and they give themselves a chance.
Yeah, it had to be, the coaches are preaching all of this the last few weeks. They talked about it. The penalties. You guys don't understand how much these are killing us and all that type of stuff. For them to see Maryland keep a drive alive with a face mask of Luke Altmaier, to see them, a late hit that was 3 seconds after Altmaier released the ball that some Maryland defender just shoves him down. You have to wonder if even some of the guys, maybe the younger guys on the sideline, are like, oh, wow. When the other team does it, it really does change the game, and it continues a drive where Illinois gets 7. So it was that kind of game. Maryland made the mistakes. Maryland made the really killer penalties. Illinois took advantage and won the game.
We'll talk about defense in a moment, but we have to start here with the rushing attack. And Caden Fagan, imagine this. Last year he's playing Arcola at this time. Now he's in a Big Ten game, and I know we've kind of harped on this several times, but it really is remarkable of, number one, the impact he can make, and the perspective piece for me, Robert, of how far he's come in just this short amount of time.
Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, there's so much for a freshman running back to learn. I'm sure that one blitz pickup where he wasn't ready for the guy, and the guy, a linebacker sent him flying. That's the type of thing as a freshman you just don't know the speed of the game. That wasn't happened at ALAH high school. He was not trying to pick up a blitzer like that coming out of nowhere. So it's those type of things, just so hard for a freshman to learn. So for him to get this far, he had that reception, so he had to close to 100 yards from scrimmage. For him to be able to do that as a freshman, as, hey kid, it's your game, go win one like that on the road, really big. Look, that's what a 4-star recruit can do for you. A 4-star can be ready early. He's probably physically ready. That's why Notre Dame offered. That's why all these other schools offered him, and he showed it on Saturday.
So now he has this. Where does Illinois go from this? Because you know what you have in Fagan now. You get Reggie Love back. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But it has to be a good thing for Illinois to know that you have this baseline of Caden Fagan.
I was starting to hate myself I had asked a question in the pregame press conference, or preseason press conference. If you remember when he announced that Jordan was out for the year, that Anderson was done for the year, I asked the question of it kind of leaves you with only 4 scholarship running backs, and he said, well, we moved Nick Fidanzo back there. But, he said at the time, look, I've never lost 3 running backs in one season. It's never going to be a problem. I've had that on my mind the last few weeks of look, I was not trying to speak that into existence. It's very fortunate, I think, that, some of the top players in the last 2 recruiting classes, in Lawfrey and Fagan, were running backs and ready to play. If they were turning to 2, say, freshman wide receivers right now, I don't know if that would be going as well. If they were turning to 2 freshman, defensive tackles or something like that, it wouldn't be going as well. To have these guys ready, to have someone like Fagan ready to put up yards like that, get big break tackles, get that big duck under the tackle first down on that 3rd down play, that's what's been missing. How many missed 3rd down and 1s has Illinois had in the first 6 games? So to pick up those kind of yards, that's really impressive for freshmen.
And the offensive line seemingly was a little bit better. What did you take away from them? We get Zy Chrysler back. You see some more improvement in that 7 games in.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we've known, but, Zy Chrysler missed the spring. When we watched practices, he was out a lot of the practices. We hadn't seen him healthy yet. When he played, he didn't look like the same player as last year. The coaches were finally saying, yeah, he's kind of been injured all year. People have been wondering, should he sit? Should this be like one of those, sit him for 3 weeks and make sure he's completely healthy? Is he trying to play hurt? All that kind of thing. This was a performance where it looked like he was starting to understand. It looked like he was healthy, and here's what I need to do, and it fit there. You saw on the big play, which is the touchdown just before the half, it was Chrysler who, I'll just say that Fagan surfed into the end zone. You have to get a big body driving down to create that little wedge where the running back can sneak through. So that's why they recruited him. That's why they were so excited about him. For him to pick up that 1.5 yards, get that touchdown. It's 14 at half instead of 14-10, or even worse, 14-7. That was a really important play. So having, those are the little things, right? Those are the little things of okay, Chrysler's back and he's healthy and he made that play and Fagan got in the end zone, and that made the game possible at the end for a field goal to win it.
And on the other side, the defensive line, we don't see Keith Randolph Jr. He does not make the trip, but I think it evens out a little bit because Seth Coleman has 3 sacks. It felt like the outside linebackers are finally starting to make an impact as well. And imagine that, Robert, when your OLBs make some impact.
Yes.